Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to present you the newest features in Microgateway 4.5. My name is Stefan Dietiker and I am the product manager of Airlock Microgateway. I have quite a few topics that I want to cover. First, the main new features of Airlock Microgateway 4.5, some miscellaneous features and changes. Unfortunately, we have some breaking changes I'd like to mention. The new version, Microgateway 4.5, comes with a bunch of new features and improvements. The main new features is RedHat OpenShift certification, and we provide you great improvements for Kubernetes Gateway API, Grafana Dashboards, OIDC Relying Party. The Microgateway operator is now certified for the RedHat OpenShift container platform. This means that the installation is much simpler than before and can be achieved through the RedHat catalog. Using the operator bundle to install Microgateway reduces the dependency of the cert manager. The greatest benefits in our eyes is that RedHat provides full support for certified operators and their containers. With the certification, customers have the confirmation that we developed the Microgateway operator according to RedHat's best practices. With Microgateway 4.5, our OIDC Relying Party integration has been extended with OIDC Token introspection support. OIDC Token introspection is a standard to verify whether a token has been revoked after issuing it. With token introspection, each client request can be sent to the introspection endpoint of the OIDC provider to verify the token. This generates a load on the OIDC provider. To reduce the load, we provide a strategy to only send a part of the requests to the OIDC provider. From a security perspective, it is highly recommended to use the strategy always, which causes that every request is checked. To understand OIDC token introspection, it is crucial to be familiar with OIDC sign-in process. This is why I first like to explain how authentication is done with OIDC. First of all, we have a web application which is protected by Airlock Microgateway and a user tries to access it. Airlock Microgateway follows the OIDC protocol and redirects the user to an IAM. The IAM shows a login form and authenticates the user. After successful authentication, the user is forwarded to a so-called callback URL of the Microgateway. The Microgateway received an access code with the callback request and uses it to get an access and ID token from IAM. Afterwards, the access control policy is applied. If the user is authorized to access the web application, he is redirected to original URL he entered. The request is then filtered and forwarded to the web application. OIDC token introspection comes into play for every subsequent request after the sign-in process. The user wants to access a certain resource on the web application and sends a request. With token introspection enabled, Microgateway checks whether the OIDC token has been revoked in the meantime. This is achieved by requesting the introspection endpoint of the IAM. In case that the OIDC token is still valid, the token is forwarded to the web application. As mentioned before, Airlock Microgateway can be configured with different strategies to reduce the load on the introspection endpoint. Currently, always and random are possible options. From security perspective, we recommend to use always. Microgateway 4.5 comes with improved Grafana Dashboards. The existing Grafana Dashboards now provide visualization for both data plane modes, sidecar and sidecarless. New log views provide insights about the requests processed by Airlock Microgateway. The first log view shows all the requests processed by Microgateway. Such a log view is typically known as access log. The second log view provides insights about the authentication enforcement. Administrators can easily investigate who was authenticated and authorized to access a certain web application. To update the Grafana dashboards, simply deploy a new Helm release with the Microgateway version 4.5. To give you an idea how the new dashboards look like, I created some screenshots for you. First screenshot shows the access log. The second one, the access control logs. And the third screenshot about the improvements that you can now select what kind of gateway is filtering your request. Microgateway 4.5 comes with a bunch of extensions for Kubernetes Gateway API implementation. Authentication enforcement is now also available in our sidecarless solution. It allows you to authenticate unauthorized users using the OIDC protocol. The Gateway API implementation received many additional configuration options, especially the parameterization of the gateway itself and additional features like backend TLS, host header, and URL rewrite. A brief overview of the Kubernetes Gateway API improvements. Microgateway supports Gateway API version 1.2.1. The new CRD, Gateway Parameters, allows to parameterize the gateway, the replica count, placement or pull secret, the service type, and its annotations. Header filtering is possible in conjunction with Gateway API. URL and path rewrites, backend TLS policy is also available. Access control policy can be configured, so OIDC can be used with Kubernetes Gateway API. These improvements allows you to run Microgateway as an ingress, which is amazing, not? Besides the mentioned features, there are other improvements and changes to talk about. In addition, we made some other small improvements. CSRF protection can be configured. Compressed OpenAPI specifications can be configured to support large files. The CRD API protection has been introduced, so request conditions can be used to enforce OpenAPI specifications and GraphQL schemas. To make horizontal scaling or restarting of Kubernetes nodes much smoother, a CNI repair mode has been introduced. There are some breaking changes in this release. The following breaking changes were required to improve the product. Referencing OpenAPI or GraphQL directly from content security or content security policy is deprecated. The motivation behind this is providing request conditions to apply specific OpenAPI specifications or GraphQL schemas. Use API Protection CRD to leverage the OpenAPI or GraphQL features. I'd like to say thank you for your time and hope that you enjoyed the new MicroGateway release. Goodbye.